Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. What a busy start to the day. We have a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings going on right now. You actually can't see them. Well, we've got one down in Houston right now. But before we get to all of that active weather, I actually did not reset the forecast. I want to actually go back to your headlines today. So Matt, if you'll hit escape and then play again, we'll get to those headlines and then we'll go back down to the radar because we have a lot going on across the country right now. That's perfect. We are watching for storms in Texas, in Ohio, in Tennessee, across Mississippi. We've got storms going into Memphis right now, so we've got a lot to talk about. As I mentioned, storms ongoing. Anywhere from Texas all the way up to Vermont in a risk today. That's about 40 million people included in a risk. And yes, once again, we could see some large hail today up to the size of a softball and high wind, tornadoes also on the docket today. But before we get to all of that, real quickly, do you want to win Thunder tickets to the playoff game either on Monday or Tuesday? They haven't announced the date yet, as far as I know. Here's how you do it. Record a video. It can be super quick. Hey, here's how Hail Trace has helped me over the past year. Tag us and use the hashtag 15 years of Hail Trace. And then you'll be entered to win the Thunder tickets. They're club level to the playoff game, and I also think that you get dinner included and parking included in that as well. So really big win there. Tag us in those pictures, tag us in those videos. How has Hail Trace helped you over the last few years? This is what we're doing to celebrate our 15-year anniversary. Now let's talk about those local storm reports. You can see that we had a busy last 24 hours. Starting yesterday right around lunchtime, we had storms going into Ohio. We also had a few hail reports out here, but really the big thing yesterday was storms down in Texas. Now we watched those massive hailstones down in Texas yesterday. Through the evening hours, we saw softball size hail. It was grapefruit size hail down in, I think it was Coppola's Cove, down just to the north of Austin. So we saw some really impressive storms down there. Then through the overnight hours, we saw storms down in the southwestern side of Oklahoma. So this was something that we told you would move in with the biggest hail risk down to the southwestern side of the city, or southwestern side of the state. I think that we nailed this forecast yesterday, telling you southwestern Oklahoma and then southern Texas, and that's exactly what we saw. Now today, we are seeing those storms move through places like Memphis, all the way up I-65 here, into places like Nashville. So we've got tons of risks right now, and we'll talk about those severe thunderstorm watches highlighted there in pink in just a minute. However, right now I want to show you that we've got a lot of rain going on right now. We'll get to your watches and your warnings. Pretty quiet up to the north and west. Pretty quiet in Kansas, Oklahoma. 64 today, cooler than what we saw yesterday after that cold front has tracked now to the south and east. 24-hour rainfall totals. What do we have here? We still have gotten rain across southern Oklahoma. So we are still watching for that flood risk today in Oklahoma and Texas and even a few other states. So make sure that you are in tune with those local flood warnings because flash flood could sneak up on you very quickly. Now to your forecast. What we are expecting today has already started. It's already fired, right? From this morning all the way into the early afternoon hours, we've seen storms mainly anywhere from Arkansas to northern Mississippi into Tennessee and western Kentucky. Now, I do think that this storm risk will go down as we head into the late afternoon hours, but then other storm risks go up. So this afternoon into the late night hours until about 10 o'clock tonight, we could see up to ping pong ball size hail. That tornado risk will be isolated, especially I think that tornado risk will be a little bit more promising down to the south into places like southern Ohio and Kentucky. The biggest thing that you're going to see in this area will be that high wind risk, about 75 miles an hour. Then we have another round of storms, anywhere from Texas all the way up to Tennessee. This is where you can see the large hail. Down in Texas, up to softball-size hail possible here. An isolated tornado risk and high wind up to about 70 miles an hour. I think that tornado risk is going to look a lot more promising anywhere from Mississippi all the way up to southern Ohio. But we'll talk about it here in just a minute. We'll talk about those risks, break it down, and we'll break down the timeline. But right now, I want to get to the radar. So Matt's going to help me with this. We're going to QC some of these storms here. Let's go first to the storm that's going into Nashville, because this will be impacting a lot of people. What I see right now is that it's moving to the north, and we're going to get some information about this storm. What's the hail size on this storm here? Okay, so $half size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind speeds. This goes until 12:30, so we've got a few more minutes on this. Let's get a few other warnings out here and see what we're looking at. Let's start for Tennessee, and then we'll just keep going, and we'll move to the other states here. These storms just to the east of Memphis. This is in Savannah, Tennessee. For 1-inch size hail, quarters, not too bad. If we go a little bit farther to the west, what we're looking at here is also quarter-size hail. Okay, so I haven't seen anything too significant quite yet, and we're getting some local storm reports on here as well. We've got some quarters in Savannah. Let's go closer to Memphis. What do we have right outside of Memphis over here with that local storm report? We've got, okay, less than the size of a quarter. Now, Matt was mapping these storms earlier. Matt, did you see any storms that were particularly significant that had larger than quarter-size hail?
Just east of Memphis, like, hold on, let me pull it on the map.
He said just east of Memphis. You may be able to hear him in my mic. Earlier, maybe not now, but earlier.
Around here, this general area.
So we had seen some more impressive storms earlier, and we had seen larger than quarter-size hail over here. I wonder what else we're seeing. We can go down to Texas now. Is there any storms down in Texas? There you go. We've got one warning. It's hard to see, but that may be warned. There you go. Severe thunderstorm warning for $half size hail and 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts moving to the north. So this will hit I-30 here into Weatherford over the next 30 minutes maybe. I don't know how fast these storms are moving, but we could see something within the next 30 minutes here. And I can pull up GR Earth and tell you what we're seeing a little bit easier, Matt. We now have a severe thunderstorm warning for Nashville. So Nashville, this storm is moving to the east at 35 miles an hour. We're talking about 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail, so nothing too impressive here. However, still something that will impact your lunchtime. And I'm looking at some of these other hail reports, these local storm reports. We can't see them as well on this radar, but I have my radar just off the screen over here. And I can see that all of our local storm reports that I can see right now are quarter size or smaller. And there you go. There's that severe thunderstorm warning that's headed into Nashville right now. This will hit the southern side of the city. Again, moving to the east about 35 miles an hour, so not a bad motion there. We've got quarter size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Hey, Matt, can you zoom all the way out and let's give people an idea, just a wide view here of what we're seeing. So we've got storms, that's perfect. So we've got severe thunderstorm warnings up in the northern side of Ohio. We've got them in the northern side of Georgia, western Kentucky, into Tennessee, and we've got severe thunderstorm warnings even in the northern side of Alabama, northern side of Louisiana, and eastern side of Texas. Okay, so we've got a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings going on right now. We also have watches. So let's get some timing on these watches here. Highlighted there in pink is your severe thunderstorm watch. Most of those go until 7 o'clock this evening. So we still have several more hours on this severe thunderstorm watch, on these severe storms. We are not done yet. We will continue to watch this throughout the rest of the day. But I know a lot of people have gotten on because of the forecast. So we're going to go on from the current conditions and we're going to move on to the forecast. Hey, this one goes only until 5 o'clock. Just so you guys know. Matt, thank you. We appreciate you producing today. All right, here's your future radar. I think the SPC nailed it today. This is your Storm Prediction Center risk for today. Largest hail down to the south into Texas. But this entire area is an area that we are getting storms right now. We are going to continue to see this through the next few hours. As I mentioned, that watch goes until 7 o'clock tonight. Moving on to tomorrow, that risk farther out to the east. Highlighted here in orange is where you could see the best chance for hail. Yes, we could see hail on the East Coast tomorrow. That rarely happens. So that is something that we will be watching for even on a Saturday. We'll have meteorologists staffed here. Here's your significant hail model for today. Now, how to read this map, we can see that the deeper the orange hue is, closer to that red color, the larger the hail size. So we've got some yellows mixed in here, okay? I could see maybe up to ping pong ball size hail as far north as Pennsylvania. But the biggest hailstone is going to be down into Texas, okay? That's where we're watching for the best chance for large hail today, primarily down in the Austin area. So your hail forecast for today, this has not updated from yesterday. Very odd. I did update all of this. I wonder if we are having graphics issues. Well, that is a bummer because this all was updated. Okay, this one is updated. Very interesting. You know what I'll do? Because this is frustrating. I worked on this graphic and it did not update, and I wonder if there was a system issue there. I will post this in the Facebook comments, and I'll do that right after the forecast, and I'll make sure that you guys get that hail forecast today. What a bummer. Anyway, so the southern side of Texas, that is where we're seeing the largest hail for today. We're talking about Austin and that really good risk for up to softball size hail. If you go closer to Houston, those hail sizes go down. If you go closer to Dallas, those hail sizes go down. But even then, that Dallas hail size, if you go to the southern side of the city, I think you could get up to golf ball size hail. If you go to the northern side of the city, it's going to be closer to that $50 size. Now, Austin, I do expect Austin to get more of that baseball to softball size hail today. Let's talk about the wind forecast. That's what you see right here. Better chances for high wind the farther north that you go into places like Nashville and Louisville. Over the next few hours, I think that those storms will transition from a hail risk to a high wind risk. We could see up to 70 mile per hour high wind speeds today, but I don't think that that 80 mile per hour wind speed is out of the question. You know, this is something that we saw out in Pittsburgh just a few days ago, where we saw strong 80 mile per hour winds that devastated the city, knocking down trees, knocking down power lines. Whenever I saw yesterday, there were still about 250,000 people without power out in Pittsburgh. And here is your tornado forecast from Louisville to Nashville in a level 1 risk. If I were to put an area most likely to get a tornado today, I would go anywhere from northern Louisiana all the way up into Kentucky. I think this area will be the best chance for tornadoes today. As you go down into Texas, I think it's possible. However, I think it'll be a little bit more isolated down here. Either way, it's a level 1 risk for everyone highlighted here in green. Let's get to, I think it is your timeline, potentially. You guys can see me hitting this button. I get it. It's a Friday. Our computer is running slow. We're all kind of running slow on a Friday, right? Here's your timeline for today. So we've got ongoing storms right now in the northern side of Ohio, all the way down to central Tennessee. I think that this model has done a pretty good job keeping up with storms. We are going to see this continue, clustering up into these storm clusters. You can see that starting over Cincinnati, starting over the west side of Tennessee and Kentucky, as we head into the afternoon hours. Now let's get a reminder of your storm risk here. In this area, we're watching for clustered storms up to ping pong ball size hail, isolated for the most part. The biggest hazard here will be that high wind speed up to 75 miles an hour, and a low and isolated tornado risk anywhere on the southern edge of this storm system from Kentucky down to Tennessee. This will continue as we head into the late night hours. However, I do think that your severe risk goes down after about 8 to 9 o'clock tonight. Remember that that severe thunderstorm watch goes until 7 to 9 for most people. Now taking you down into Texas, Missouri, Louisiana, and Tennessee, what we're watching for here are more isolated supercells. So what we're going to see are these isolated storms pop up, and the supercells, the discrete thunderstorms, is what you're going to have to watch for here. Now the now the hail size has increased up to baseballs down in southern Texas. Not as worried about the wind here, about 70 mile per hour wind speeds here, a little bit lower than up north. And your tornado risk remains isolated. So a few tornadoes are possible today. This will continue through the late night hours. I'm going to go a little bit longer into the night here. Probably about 11 to midnight is whenever we finally see that risk go down. And that's really because we still have storms going through Austin and Houston pretty late tonight, right around 10 to 11 o'clock. And there is your forecast for today. Tomorrow, we have another chance for storms, I told you, out to the east. So right along the East Coast states tomorrow, like the Virginias, all the way to the Carolinas. And then as we head into Sunday, it's a low risk. We've got one risk, pretty low, out on the East Coast here. We're talking about South Carolina all the way to Georgia. Now, Monday, we return back to the plains. So y'all in Oklahoma and Texas, enjoy this drier weekend because we have storms returning back to you on Monday. It's like they've made it their work week job to hit storms here in the plains. But here we go. We are back into Texas by Monday afternoon. We have a severe risk, a level 1 right now, but I do expect that to go up the closer that we get to the system. We don't have a risk for Tuesday quite yet. However, I do expect it. On Tuesday, I expect those storms to come into Oklahoma and Texas. Unfortunately, this is going to increase the flooding risk again. You know that spot in your backyard that never seems to dry out? It's not going to dry out this weekend or next week either. We have a lot of chances for severe storms over the next few days. Hey, I can see your comments in the side over here. We don't have them on the screen right now, but I appreciate you commenting. I can see Mark Anthony saying hi from Dallas. Looking at any hail today. Your risk for storms in Dallas today will be later on this afternoon and evening. You even saw that isolated storm right now that's moving into the west side of Fort Worth. Right now, your hail risk is going to stay small, maybe the size of $half to ping pong ball size hail. Later on today, that'll increase, especially to the south of Dallas. Doug says, will we ever see hail in Chicago this year? I know, we have not seen a really good risk in Chicago in a while. You know, yesterday I had the question about Denver. Someone was asking, will we see hail in Denver this year? Not anytime soon. Shane asking, will it come to Arkansas? Yeah, Arkansas is included in the risk for today. And I think those are most of the questions today. So we appreciate you commenting. We can still see it on the side of the screen. We just don't have it popped up on the screen today. And thanks to Matt for producing. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And give us a call if you're interested in a hail, wind, or tornado map. We have meteorologists mapping those storms right now. So you want to see that storm that's going into Nashville right now? We have that up on hailtrace.com. So head over to hailtrace.com or email us at info@hailtrace.com to get subscribed today. All right, thanks for joining us on this Friday. We'll see you back here, same time, same place in your next forecast.